Alright, so we're going to continue to look at our website and build a little bit more functionality and make it a little bit more interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some images. So images will make our website really look a lot better as we go forth. So what we want to do is save some space for this. So in the same folder that you have your index file, you're going to make a new folder. You're going to call it images. Right now there's going to be nothing in it. And then we're going to make a new file here. So go ahead and click on new. We're going to copy over all of this stuff here. So copy all of your code from the index file, paste it in here, and then we're going to get rid of everything within the div tags. So we're going to do our own thing, and let's get the title. Let's say my pictures, and we're going to save this in the same place with index, and we're going to call it pictures.html, and that's going to be our pictures file. And so there's a couple of ways that we can get pictures in. We can insert. Let's actually put this in a paragraph tag. That'll be a little bit cleaner. And so let's close that paragraph tag, and let's say we can insert a picture that is already on the web using a link. And I want to break that there. And then the way that we do that is with an image tag. So it starts with img, and we have to tell it where to find it. So source, src equals, and then something in quotes. And we're going to find a link to something. So let's go back to the web. Let's open up any browser, and then let's look for, I'm going to search for a cat. And Google's going to pull up hopefully at some point. There we go. An image of a cat. And it doesn't matter what I pick. I want to view the image, and what I'm looking for is this link. So I want to get that link that ends with the JPEG. And so I'm going to go back to Notepad++. I'm going to put that in there. And then this is also a self-closing tag. And so outside of this, I'm going to do slash bracket. And then there we go. So that's my whole thing. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, Control S, and then I need to open this file. So I'm going to go into that folder structure. I'm just going to double click now that we have a default, and hopefully it loads it up. And takes it a second, but you can see it's loading that local one, and then there's that picture, and it's gigantic. So this is the same picture we had there, right? But it's huge here. It's the actual image source size. And so we might not want that to look like that. So if we go back to Notepad++, we can specify in here certain things. So we can say, I want the width to equal, in quotes, 300. And that would be 300 pixels. So I go ahead and save that, Control S, bring it back up, and then refresh that. And now I have a more manageable size picture for my cat. Let's say I go back in here, and we notice though that I lost I took down the source image, but it scaled it appropriately. Like the aspect ratio is the same, so it doesn't look skewed. If we specify a couple of things, so let's copy this again. We're just going to copy that link, and then let's put in a break, and let's say we can skew the aspect ratio if we want. And let's put in another break, and let's paste our image. And the way that I do that is, you would think it would be width and length, but it's not. It's width and height. And let's say that equals 50 pixels. And so now if I save it and I refresh it, I get the second image, and now it's been skewed. So you see the width is the same, 300, but I have forced it to be not the source rectangle size, and so it looks like it's not the original image in terms of its quality. Alright, so we can put images in that are live on the web, but that's an issue for lots of reasons. One is that we don't own it. The other is if that link goes away, then our image goes away. And so what we really want to do is build in local files. So I'm going to get out of this paragraph. I'm going to make a new paragraph. And so P, and then close that tag. Alright, and I'll say ideally we want to use local files that we own /create. Okay, and let's put in a break. So to do that, we need to have a local file. So we're going to, just for our demonstration here, we're going to get an image from the web. Again, we don't own this image, but let's search for a dog. And once we get an image here, we get an image of a dog. All right, this one looks great. So we can click on it, but instead of viewing the image again, the link, we're going to actually right-click and we're going to save the image as. Okay? And it's going to pop up a dialog box in a second. Now, what I need to do is I need to save it in that folder that we created, which was on my desktop and is in my website in images. Okay? I'm going to call it puppy. I'll just call it dog. That looks like a puppy. Call it something that makes sense to you, and make sure the type is as a JPEG. All right, you don't have to do, if you do put in .jpeg, it's not going to work. So just specify puppy, and then we'll go from there. So we're saving that into our local file. So now we own that copy of it, and if we look in our folders, right, it's right there. There's our dog. And so now what we have to do is to tell this website, this pictures HTML file, where to find that image. So the way it goes is you have to go into the images folder, right, and find puppy.jpg. So this is where the pictures already is, so we're going to specify that file path for it, images, and then that file name. And the way that looks, let's get rid of this, is same tag as above, image, source, okay, except now we're dealing with our source equals a local file. So the way that we do that is we'd say, okay, you look in the images folder and you look for puppy.jpg. Right? And then that's a self-closing tag. We go from there. Alright, so let's save that and let's see if that worked. So I'm going to refresh my picture, and then there's the puppy. Okay, and we can modify that as however we want. But that is a local file that we have created or theoretically will own. And so what's going to happen is when we want to give somebody our website, we just give them this folder and everything will come with it. Nothing will be broken. We'll have all the pieces in place. I mean, we don't have to depend on a link from another place. All right, last thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to actually link documents. So it would be nice if our home page, right, the index, actually could take us to the pictures page. So I would like to be here and have somehow to be able to get to this page, right, as a clickable link. So let's go back into Notepad++, and we're looking at this file, okay? And I'll go under my H2 tag, I'll put in a paragraph, and close the paragraph before I forget to do that. And go over here, and I'm going to use an anchor tag to make my link. So A starts it off, and what I'm going to say is I'm going to do a hyper text reference. We can do different types of links as well within a page, but this is going to be our common one. And so what we're going to say is what I want you to find is, since it's in the same file directory, is pictures.html. That will link it to this file that we have right there. All right, and then we close that tag, and then we have to put some text in the middle of it. All right, so we could say something like, check out my pictures of cats and dogs. And then I close that anchor tag. Okay, and so I save that, go back, and refresh it, and then here we go. Now I have something that I can click on and it will take me to those pictures. Now you can be a little bit fancier if you want. If you go back into Notepad++, right, I could say more traditionally not, right, you see something like this. It's like click here to check out my pictures. And all I do to make that here the only thing that's linked is just put this tag around that piece. Right, and so now when I open that up, right, the here thing is the only clickable part. Everything else is just text. So let's save that, go back here, refresh it, and then now that piece takes me there. All right, and if I want to be able to go back, right, I can, in the pictures piece, I could say, all right, make another anchor tag. Let's just put it, let's put it within this paragraph. So we'll do a break, and then I'll do an anchor tag, and it's a hypertext reference equals I want to go back to index.html, right? And I'll say return to the home page. And so now what I have, and then I close the anchor tag, save it, go back, refresh it. That's that one. Refresh this one, sorry. And then I can return to my home page, and now I can click between them without going on the tabs, and now I've built a 2-page website that goes